Thank you for joining us again and welcome back to our channel. If you are joining for the first time, I appreciate your time. It is important to note that the continent of Africa is experiencing and going through a monumental period in its history. Why Africans have become wiser than what they used to be. It is important to note that African nations have looked around and reviewed their relationship across the board and noticed that at this time, if they do not go it alone, it will be catastrophic in terms of their strategic engagement. How Africa is experiencing tremendous growth in terms of its middle class and a burgeoning population. The odds cannot be against the continent. It is vitally important. That is the reason why some African nations are taking the bull by the horn to move forward, irrespective of the difficulties and name calling. It is advisable to know that the country of Burkina Faso nationals have come to the realization that it's not going to be business as usual. Consider the country's long historical formation, looking at imperialist engagement in the continent of Africa. More importantly, the people of Burkina Faso have come to the realization that they should be smarter than what people think. The people of Burkina Faso are so informed, very connected, and they know when the imperialists start naming things, they pay attention. That's why we've seen in the past, if you want to hang a dog, you give it a bad name. That's what we are seeing here at the moment. However, the Burkinabe people from across the United States of America converged in New York. More importantly, back home in Ouagadougou, came very clear to send a strong signal across Africa's geopolitical partners that consider the country of Burkina Faso as using its own natural resources the way it wants. That's the reason why people from Burkina Faso go back to history to look at their strategic partners' involvement in other countries and came out clear and start calling them out by saying this.
We are here to tell American generals, instead of making an American security report, they will lie as they usually do. Colin Powell lied, Saddam Hussein is dead. Barack Obama lied, Gaddafi is dead. This time it will not pass. Our economy belongs to us. Our gold belongs to us. Our underground resources belong to us.
Africa consume information from diverse sources. It's very difficult for you to change the narrative. At this particular time, the continent of African events that happen can ripple effects across the world. Africans are paying closer attention regards to global events, and that's what we are seeing happening in Burkina Faso. The people from Burkina Faso have refused to be influenced, have refused to listen to the narrative, have refused to accept to the global media perspective narrative that has been the playbook in the past. That is the reason why the Burkina Faso nationals and individuals have come to the realization that it will not be business as usual. And they said this.
Armed with placards bearing anti-West slogans and supportive messages for Burkina Faso's interim president Ibrahim Traore, crowds filled a central square in Ouagadougou. It was one of the biggest rallies supporting the military government following a coup in 2022. People were angered by remarks of US General Michael Langley, who accused Traore of diverting the country's gold reserves for personal interests.
It doesn't surprise us that an American general lied. This time, though, their lies won't affect us. That's why we tell them we're not against them, but we are against predation and economic slavery.
That is why we have come out today to show these imperialists that the people of the AES are behind their presidents. We no longer want injustice in Africa, which is why we have come out to warn them. Burkina Faso's internal affairs are none of their business.
Burkina Faso, along with the military-led states of Niger and Mali, last year exiled ECOWAS bloc and formed the Alliance of Sahel states. The trio also cut military ties with the US and France and sought military support from Russia. Traore has garnered significant support from young people, some beyond the country's borders, promising security and prosperity amidst ongoing insurgency challenges.
I came to Ouagadougou today to participate in this demonstration in support of Captain Ibrahim Traore because it represents hope for Africa, hope for black people, hope for all freedom fighters around the globe.
I am here to give my support to the people of Burkina Faso. Let the people of Burkina Faso know that Ibrahim Traore is not only for the Burkinabe, he is the president of humanity. He is for African and black people.
Despite the support, the security situation in Burkina Faso remains critical, with large areas under insurgent control. Muturi Kaibere, CGTN.
Africa is at a crossroad in its particular history at the moment, as we see countries across the region reorganizing themselves to move forward. It is important to know that the Sahel countries, especially Burkina Faso, faces some tremendous challenges, and a new leader in the country is trying to charter a new part in the country's history. That's why the United States of America's general, who made those flimsy comments with regards to the president of Burkina Faso, does not sit well in the country of Burkina Faso. That is the reason why the nationals come out clear and did not hide their feelings and openly said their leader is someone they believe in. Their leader is championing their cause. Their leader believes in the people. Their leader has a better understanding and a grasp with regards to the geopolitical environment. And to calm down the tension, they came out clear to inform the imperialists that they are aware of what's going on, and they also know what the environment could mean, as they're referencing Libya, Iraq, and other countries that to an extent they perceive such interference and influence has resulted to a negative perspective.
Since assuming leadership of Burkina Faso in September 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traore has spearheaded a bold transformation, breaking away from the entrenched foreign influence and steering the country towards self-reliance. His administration has challenged traditional power dynamics, driven economic reforms, and ignited renewed sense of sovereignty. But on April 3rd this year, while delivering a testimony on the U.S. Africa Command posture, U.S. Marine Corps General Michael Langley had a unique perspective on the leadership in Burkina Faso and Sudan. Listen to this interaction between Langley and Senator Wicker.
The ruling elite of a country is receiving gratuities on the side that inure to the benefit of the strongman leader.
I see this, and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain Traore and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime.
Like the great legendary Jamaica singer once said, you can fool some people sometimes, and you cannot fool all the people all the time. Correct me there if I'm wrong. That's the reason why the people of Burkina Faso have gone back to their history, because if it walks like a dog, if it quacks like a dog, if it rolls like a dog, if it feels like a dog, if it scratches like a dog, it is a dog for them. They have sensed it here, and they know they've gone back to their history, and you cannot deceive them at this particular time. That's the reason why they are coming out in their numbers in the United States of America and also in the country of Burkina Faso, in the city of Ouagadougou. This is not different. They understand. They know what the trends are. They have lived this moment. They have the feelings. They can tell if it's not going well. That's why they are not hiding their feelings. They are making their voices heard.
Thousands rallied in Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou, on Wednesday in a demonstration that the junta-led country's prime minister said makes imperialism tremble.
Some will not sleep tonight. But their nightmare will last because we are standing ready until final victory.
The rally follows the junta's recent claim that it had thwarted a major coup plot. On April 21st, the military announced the arrest of several senior officers alleged to have conspired with external forces to overthrow the government. According to organisers, the rally was also to denounce remarks attributed to US General Michael Langley, accusing junta leader Ibrahim Traore of using Burkina Faso's gold reserves for personal protection at the expense of the well-being of the people.
Là aussi,
We are here to tell American generals, instead of making an American security report, they will lie as they usually do. Colin Powell lied, Saddam Hussein is dead. Barack Obama lied, Gaddafi is dead. This time it will not pass. Our economy belongs to us. Our gold belongs to us. Our underground resources belong to us.
Traore took power in a September 2022 coup amid an escalating jihadist insurgency. Security has been prioritized and promised elections postponed.
That's why the Burkina Faso nationals came out clear from the United States of America, looking at gathering in New York and Ouagadougou, and make comments like this.
Nous sommes là ce matin comme un seul homme, derrière notre plus jeune courage, capitaine Ibrahim Traore, pour le combat qu'il mène depuis le pays. Nous sommes loin de la patrie, mais proches. Donc nous sommes là aujourd'hui, sortis ici, à Times Square, au cœur de Manhattan, pour montrer aux yeux du monde entier que nous sommes prêts pour lui. Et on doit démontrer ça au monde, aux yeux du monde entier, que c'est lui que nous avons choisi. La patrie ou la mort, nous vaincrons.
Je pense que c'est un Thomas Sankara. C'est un deuxième Thomas Sankara qui est là, qui va tout changer, qui va libérer l'Afrique. C'est notre chance qui est là. On a échoué Kadhafi, on ne peut pas échouer Ibrahim Traoré.
On est là ce matin pour supporter nos dignes fils, les déterminés, ceux qui ont vraiment accepté pour nous libérer. Il est tout pour nous. Il est tout pour nous. C'est notre, on peut dire notre espoir. C'est le papa des orphelins, le mari des veuves, le fils des pauvres, le frère de tout le monde. Ibrahim, c'est un grand leader.
Je suis là pour soutenir notre président, capitaine Ibrahim Traoré, pour défendre les intérêts de l'Afrique, le panafricanisme, l'intérêt de l'Afrique, l'intérêt du Burkina Faso, l'intérêt de l'AES. Mon message, c'est que je ne veux pas ce qui s'est passé 60 ans de se refaire. Je ne veux pas qu'on regrette ce qui s'est passé avec le capitaine Thomas Sankara, avec Lumumba, avec Mamadou Dia, avec Cheikh Anta Diop, avec Amical Cabral, Agostinho Neto. C'est fini. Le capitaine Ibrahim Traoré représente l'Afrique dignement. He is the people's champ. C'est la population qui le veut. On est derrière lui, on est derrière l'AES, on est derrière capitaine Ibrahim Traoré. On veut un Afrique souverain. On veut plus de la CEDEAO, on veut plus des valets locaux. On ne veut plus des lagunes présidents qui sont des préfets marionnettes de la France. On ne veut plus d'eux.
I'm here with Mother Africa.
Je suis ici pour la mère patrie, l'Afrique. Burkina Faso est en train de mener la danse en fait pour toute l'Afrique, pour tout le continent, en termes de prise de conscience. Et il l'a bien compris, ce sont les jeunes qui devaient être aux avant-gardes afin de pouvoir libérer l'Afrique et dans son cas particulier, développer le Burkina Faso.
Burkina Faso.
African nationals are not foolish as the other experts will think. They are very informed. They understand what is at stake at the moment, and you cannot deceive them the way that it used to be in the past. That's why the information superhighway has helped African nationals, expert, communication expert in a wholesale diverse industry to bring the information to folk. In the past, these kind of comments would have gone unnoticed and start building within and will cause impact in those countries that far beyond the way that the continent of Africa would have thought. The situation in Burkina Faso is an extraordinary situation. That's why the international community is paying attention, especially the people that matters. Make no mistake, African countries are observing this particular engagement and the comments that the United States of America's general has made regards to this particular country. Burkina Faso of all is one of those countries that have kicked out France from its territory and make a strategic move to go it alone because the challenges at the horizon is incredible. And this particular country has gone back to its root and looking for options that will fit. They go closer to the Russians because they need security. They go closer to the Chinese. They need economic integration and collaboration in several areas. The odds are high in the moment, so African nations are not what they used to be. The situation in Burkina Faso is a clear example that the people are paying attention and their global strategic partners and some imperialistic views will not hold grounds at the moment. That's why the Burkina Faso nationals and people across the continent of Africa are making their voice heard, and this is very unusual across the globe. It is important for the continent of Africa to understand that Africa, Europe is not coming to save you, the United States will not come, and more other strategic partners in terms of the global community, Indians, the Russians, the Chinese, are there just to support, to provide guidance. However, you must take matters in your own hands if you need to deliver for your people, if you need to deliver for your community, if you need to industrialize, considering the changes in North America at the moment, how trade tariffs are coming so clear. That's the reason why expert, consultant, information analysts across the world are telling the continent of Africa, you better wake up now or you're stuck. Let me know in the comment section what you think regards the people of Burkina Faso, if they have realized that it will not be business as usual the way it has been in the past. The Burkinabe people have had a terrible experience with regards to their particular relationship and foreign influence, and this time around they say they will not tolerate it. That's why we see the people coming out and making their voice heard. I will be looking forward to meeting you soon in our next episode. Smash the like button and have a good day. Bye bye.